In PrimeBid, a bid file can be used to set up another bid file. We would refer to the first bid file as a bid template. A bid template can be very specific in the case of a Costco bid template where 90% of the work is already set up and reproduced from job to job. Another type of bid file could be for a school job. Perhaps 70% of the work would be set up in the template. The template or bid file can be opened, and there is a sample bid template that ships with PrimeBid. I'm going to open it, and then immediately after opening the file, this bid template file can be saved, and a save as can be performed to name it for this job. So I'm going to name this as the template example, save it, and now all the modifications that I make to this bid template will be custom for this job. I go through a sequence of process of altering the different elements of this bid file to fit the job exactly. I start at the end, where I'm going to end up, or on the summary view. Here on the summary view, I've got a list of add-ons set up in the summary view that are already there, and they would be adjusted to fit this job. The location of the job will determine the amount of the state sales tax, which can be added on the fly, and the starting overhead and profit percentage can be adjusted to fit the kind of job that I'm doing. You'll notice that there's very low values already used in this, or $1 for each section with cost category of work that are set up in this bid template. When I go to the sections view, the next operation I would do would be to input the values for self-performed work, sections of work where I have costs worked up that won't be involved in matrices. I'll switch to a divisions details filter and look and see that general conditions is a summary line item for work that it could include project managers, secretaries, quality control, temporary stuff, etc. Stuff that won't change on bid day. Perhaps I had worked it up on a worksheet, and now I could just put in the summary of those values here in PrimeBid and overtype the $1 values. Also, I could scroll down the sheet and put in values, for instance, for self-performed concrete work on the same basis. If I had done a detailed takeoff, I might have values that I'm working with, and I can then just type those in. These values are not used in a matrix. However, these values can be edited on the section spreadsheet at any time during the bid. Also, I would go in and put in miscellaneous values that needed to be added. For instance, if I wanted to add $500 into the demolition labor, irregardless of the subcontractor bid, I could just add that into the labor cost category, and of course, it's totaling up into the total bid amount. I could also go in and see any other kind of self-performed work that might be used on this job that I need to quantify but will not be used on a matrix. Now, the matrices are pre-built. You probably already noticed that several of these numbers are pink and have no colorized background, and other numbers are black, which means that the black numbers are not attached to the matrices, but the pink numbers are. So the matrices are already set up with the sections of work ready to be customized. So going to the matrices view, which is the most detailed view in PrimeBid, I'm going to then look over the list of matrices that are set up for this bid file and determine if there are some other matrices that needed to be added to this list to process the bid. For instance, if there was precast concrete on this job, I would add the sections of work and create a new matrix for precast concrete. After I've gotten all my matrices built, and there may be only 1, 2, or 3 additional matrices necessary, I would also remove any matrices that do not need to be in this job. Now, after I had done that, I would go in and work with each matrix, matrix by matrix, to see if there was customizations that needed to be performed to the sections, to the preliminary numbers, and any other detailed information I'd like to start off with before bid day begins. Here in the surveying matrix is my first one. I would put in a preliminary value of $25,000, and if I felt that I would bid this job with my own number, I would type in my work, and if I had a detailed workup of the surveying that I was comfortable with, I would plug in a bidder called my work at $22,000, anticipating that engineers would come in with bids for this surveying and beat me out of the work. However, if I didn't get bids on bid day, I would feel very comfortable using myself as the bidder and buy this work out after the job was awarded to me. The next matrix that I would go to would be the earthwork and utilities matrix. Here again, I've got my work already set up for some of the work that's in there. I would go through and install all of the preliminary numbers, the my work numbers, and I would look at the sections of work to see which sections of work are necessary in this bid file and which sections of work are not. For instance, if the demolition was not necessary, I could delete the preliminary number for my work and then highlight the section and right-click to get a menu of potential modifications that I could do. I could remove the section from the matrix. That means that the section would still be in the bid file and available perhaps to be used in another matrix. I could remove the section from the matrix and delete it from the bid with this one menu option. I'll pick that option, which will remove this section and delete it from the bid, and removing it from the matrix itself. The next step in customizing the matrix to fit the job is to ensure that the section numbers and the section names match the spec book. To change the section numbers and names, I can highlight a section and right-click to get a menu. Let's say that this needed to be changed to 2610 Utilities. I could select the Change Section Code, type in 2610, click OK, and then highlight the section again, right-click and pick Edit Section Name. And here I could then type in utilities. These customizations then make the job more accurate during the bidding phase. Another thing that I would do would look to see if there were sections of work not in the matrices that needed to be there. For instance, I could click on the masonry matrix and see that I don't need the brick unit masonry, remove it and delete it from the bid. And then let's say as an example, I need to have unit pavers in here. So I could highlight a section, right click, and then add sections or insert sections before or after. When I pick insert sections after, the list of sections in the bid file in the Add Sections to a Matrix window shows up. Unit pavers are not currently in my bid file, so I would click the Add Sections to a Bid button in the bottom left-hand corner, go directly to the section code, type in 2515, which is my unit pavers section, press the Enter button, then I can put in a quantity and a value for the preliminary on this particular job. When I click OK, that will add this section of work to the bid file on the fly while I'm editing the matrix. This operation can also be done in the middle of bid day when a section is encountered that was not originally set up in the bid file. I will click on the $25,000 value in the subcontractor cell and click the Accept button. That will then put that section of work into the matrix itself. I can also take these sections of work and rearrange them, move them left or right, put in a list of vendors that I would look up from my list and have them pre-selected into the matrix and get ready for bid day. Now, this system of using a template to set up a bid file can save you lots of time. A typical job setup will take between 3 and 5 hours. If you use a template, you can reduce that time down to approximately 1 to 2 hours and have an excellent bid file ready to assist you on bid day to perform the best possible analysis and get the job at your number.